Welcome to the Weekly Dose of Stars. I'm your host, Graham Breitenstein, a professional dancer and movement coach for icons like, Idina Menzel, Lady Gaga, Meghan Trainor, just to name a few, turned professional astrologer, certified oracle card reader, and founder of Drunk Astrology. Each week on this podcast, I'm breaking down the astrological transits that need to be on your radar so you know exactly what energy to tap into and what opportunities to take advantage of in order to achieve your biggest goals, your juiciest manifestations, all while consciously co-creating your life with Team Uni. That's my affectionate pet name for the universe. So get ready. You're about to align your actions, dreams, and biggest manifestations with this week's Dose of Stars. Hello and happy Monday to all of the Drunk Astro Dosers out there. Welcome to the beginning of a new month, the beginning of a new week. We are talking about the week of March 2nd through the 8th, 2026 in this here episode. And as always, it is such a pleasure to be sharing some audio space with you today and throughout this week. I'm going to go ahead and say that this week has so many important aspects that in the nature of not overwhelming you, first and foremost, and myself, second, I am going to pare down today's episode to just the essentials of what you need to know. But I also want anyone to know that is not yet a subscriber to the Daily Dose of Stars. I highly encourage you to check it out. Listening to this on Apple Music or Spotify, YouTube, scroll down to the show notes, tap the link for the daily doses so that you get a daily energy report. We are in unprecedented cosmic times, right? We're in eclipse season. This week features the second eclipse of the season. We're in the middle of Mercury Retrograde. Mars is changing signs this week. Venus is changing signs and connecting with Saturn and Neptune, who recently connected in a very rare conjunction. We have one of the luckiest days of the year this week. We have Mercury Retrograde starting to make its second round of connections to planets, which means your Mercury Retrograde story has a humongo chance to develop and evolve. And it's just simply too much to cover in one episode and in the name of not overwhelming. Because I have heard from a number of listeners who say like, oh my God, how do you do this? How do you retain all of this information? And I go, welcome to the party. But also this is what I do, right? I am so used to tracking the cosmic weather. I am so used to translating it and making it something that you can use practically, that you can take advantage of. But in weeks like this, in moments like this, it is so advantageous to have a daily energy report like the Daily Doses. And, we're a community group over there, right? Like, it's not just like listen to your weather and move on. Like, we're in there off social media, connecting, sharing, contributing to each other's, thoughts and perspectives and like how the aspects have played out in their lives, right? And that was really one of the main objectives was like, yeah, the planets are moving every single day. They're making different connections. And also like how you can use the information to just practically move things forward or practically decide. I've had a number of people say, thanks for telling me when the moon was going to be void for like all day because I took a day off work and your girl needed it, right? So it's so vast how you can use astrology, and that's exactly like why the Weekly Dose of Stars podcast exists, but it's really why the Daily Dose of Stars exists, especially if you're a Cancer or have Cancer prominent in your chart. You're ruled by the moon, and the moon is changing signs AKA your energy is shifting every 2.5 days. So if you're a Cancer sun, moon, rising, Mercury, Venus, Mars, just know that your proclivity in whatever planet or placement is ruled by Cancer, it's shifting every 2.5 days. So you will begin to kind of get the context of like, oh, when the moon's in earth or water, like I'm a little bit more like head down and focused. But when it's in air and fire, like, those are the days where I'm kind of like, no, I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to talk to anybody. Like, leave me alone. And right, so if you're talking about Mercury in Cancer, like your willingness and ability to communicate is answering to, it's changing energies. It's shifting every 2.5 days. Or if it's Venus, right, your willingness and ability to connect with others, like, is changing every 2.5 days. So it's good to have this context. And you don't have to have Cancer prominent in your chart in order to take advantage of this, right? It's more about like just working with the flow of the universe rather than against it. Okay, so that's the point. And this is just one of those weeks where it is so prominent to have something like a daily energy report, because there's just simply too much to report on this week. So first and foremost, we are going to talk about the fact that Tuesday, March 3rd, is the Virgo full moon lunar eclipse. It takes place at 3:38 a.m. Pacific. For my astro nerds, it is taking place at 12 degrees and 54 minutes of Virgo. So that means if you have anything between 7 and 17 degrees of Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius, this full moon lunar eclipse is saying release, release, let go, put out, get it out. Okay? This is a very potent eclipse. It is on the south node of karmic release, endings, turning points, tide turns, etc. Now, you already know, because you've been here for a minute, that eclipse seasons, right, which is in this case February 1st through March 18th, is a period where it's anything goes. You do not have to have your eclipse experience under the exact eclipse, right? I mean, your boy has been in an eclipse energy since January. Okay, so, and you know, the they keep doing their thing. It is not. I was not wrong to delay planning the rest of my year out until after March, because your boy's landscape is really changing on this side of the phone. And yours might be too, right? Depending on where this eclipse is landing in your chart, what houses are involved, what planets are involved, what it's activating in your chart, will be completely unique to you. But overall, this is a humongous release time. This will begin with Tuesday's eclipse, that we will begin waning down in, fingers crossed, intensity. And then when we hit the Pisces new moon on the 18th of March, that will be on paper the end of eclipse season. And then we will start to kind of get our bearings again, and then kind of wade out of the eclipse intensity. And the thing is, during this time, we have that added layer of Mercury retrograde in Pisces. And here's the thing, I really do, aside from the annoying parts of Mercury retrograde, the tech snafus, the misunderstandings, the miscommunications, the misfires, the false starts, the travel delays, and traffic on your way to work where there's like never any issue. All of the computer batteries, phone batteries, like all of the things that Mercury retrograde brings with it on the surface. I really look at Mercury retrograde and value it during eclipses, simply because especially in Pisces, it is your reminder to slow down, to find the magic in more rest and more recovery. I have fallen like into such a an ebb and flow with my routines, which I'm pretty regimented in normally, in terms of like working out and going to swim practice. And when I tell you, there's been a massive shift in my own personal ebb and flow, and I've been really intentional about that. And I will admit, it is difficult for me to stray from my regimens and my routines and my habits because they are established to support me day in, day out, and they work. I love my regimens, and I love my workout routines and habits, etc. But I've had to really listen to my body and listen to what it's saying. And I have just, no matter how much sleep I give myself, it's just like right now, the universe or my body is simply just like, more. You need more. Rest your mind, rest your body, rest your spirit. And I will say, I'm so glad I've been listening, because now I feel like I can start to and I'm already feeling and kind of seeing the shift towards normalcy coming. And so I highly encourage you during this intense window of time, to really listen to yourself, listen to your body, pay attention to what cues you're getting, right? Don't ignore what you should be doing. I hear this a lot, especially when I first meet people, when people come to me and like get their first birth chart reading, etc. I hear a lot. Like, I know, I should be doing X. I know, I should be doing Y. But like, what do I need to know in my chart? And I go, well, I don't need a chart to tell you, because you already know what you should be doing. And I think maybe, just you are looking for some outside objective validation that what you're feeling is valid. You know what I mean? And like, so I share that with all of you during a time that it's really freaking important to listen to yourself, however uncomfortable it may be, you may feel at this time, right? Because oftentimes we know we're supposed to do something, or we know there's a decision we need to make, but we're uneasy about making it, right? Because it's not exactly like, it opens the floodgates to other things that make us uncomfortable, or that we can't anticipate because we simply don't know what's on the other side of that decision. And so at a time when it is so important, and your intuition, hello, Mercury's retrograding in Pisces, one of the signs of your intuition, your God-given gift of connection to yourself, your higher self, your highest potential, smack dab in the middle of the intensity and the urgency of eclipses. You gotta listen to yourself, okay? I mean, I am more than happy to serve clients, and more than happy to give you a deeper understanding of the season of life you're in by looking at your birth chart. It's what I live for. But at the same time, try that out. Try trusting yourself, right? If you can't trust yourself, how the hell can you trust anybody else, or how can anybody else trust you, right? So take that with you. And for a little bit of context into this Virgo full moon lunar eclipse on Tuesday, March 3rd, you can check back into the Virgo new moon from 2025, which was August 22nd of 2025, and the 2 weeks that followed. And you can get an idea, get a gauge on what seeds were planted then, whether consciously or subconsciously, what began for you. And, explore with curiosity, right? Now, I will say this is chapter 4 for the Virgo Pisces story, right? So in Moon Phase Manifestor, like over the weekend, we broke down the entire Virgo Pisces eclipse story, which really spans from August 2024 all the way through February 2027. So this is a bigger, longer story, and it's overlapping with 2 weeks ago when we had the Aquarius new moon solar eclipse, um, the beginning of the Leo Aquarius storyline, right? So we got chapter one, Leo Aquarius, and chapter four, Virgo Pisces. So if just that amount of information alone, doesn't it already sound overwhelming? So don't feel benoodles for feeling like the world is insane, and maybe you have been feeling like a bewildered cat lady, first forced to like leave the house for the first time with like all 20 cats, you know. So I don't know where that metaphor came from, but it's the first thing that came out, so we're rolling with it, baby. So just take all this knowledge with you and trust yourself. Okay, trust that you know what you need to do, and no amount of external validation. Um, well, I don't want to say it like that. You don't necessarily need validation from outside sources in order to learn how to trust yourself. It is literally just you and you when it comes down to it at the end of the day. And if you feel uncomfortable with you, then that's the journey you're going on. Okay. But ultimately, we're looking for you as a whole version of yourself with the capacity to love and trust yourself, especially at a peak time like this. Okay? So, that being said, that's the standout aspect for the anything goes era of the eclipses. But like I said, there are so many other aspects this week. One of the luckiest days of the year, Venus changing out of Pisces and into Aries. So she's going into warrior mode, but she's also going to connect with Saturn and Neptune, which really echoes the Saturn-Neptune conjunction that took place a few weeks ago. And it brings in relationships and money and dynamics. So there's cosmic contracts being made this week as well. Mercury Retrograde begins making its second connection. So it's in its F around and find out era, right? Experiment, try new things. Don't get married to one idea. This is all still running at the same time. It's all happening this week. But today, Monday, March 2nd, let's talk about what the moon's doing, and let's talk about our good old planet Mars, because he is also changing signs today. The moon, as the week begins, starts in Leo, squaring with Uranus at 12:36 a.m., so a call to connect with your tribe. And then the moon goes void, aka she goes asleep. Okay, so now when the moon is void, this is a period of time. Now, she does this every 2.5, 3 days. When the moon goes void, she is not making any other major aspects to any other planet, so she's powered down. So it's not a time when you want to start anything new. It is not a time that you want to go do a big grocery shop. The food will go bad. You'll end up eating out all week, and then like, oops, I wasted $150. Great. You don't want to like submit a pitch or a proposal or initiate any kind of new initiatives. Especially on the business front, career front, all those things fronts, because things won't take off, or they'll take off very slowly. And so it's a time to really work on things that are already in motion. Those are the things that can move forward when the moon is void, but otherwise you'll want to stick to nothing new. That's another reason why a daily energy report is important to have in your back pocket, because now you get to know these little secret phases of the moon, so that you don't end up, buying a bunch of groceries or buying a bunch of things online and then wondering why, like, oh, my Amazon Prime box got rerouted. It got stolen off my doorstep. It got, the thing that I bought was the thing that I ended up pouring, spilling red wine all over the white blouse, and now I can't even wear it. I played with these void moons years ago. Let me tell you, it doesn't miss. They don't miss at all. So, experiment at your own risk. But thankfully for you, the moon on Monday is only void until 4:34 a.m. So only about a 7-minute void. And at 4:34 a.m. Pacific, the moon enters Virgo. So then for the rest of Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the moon in Virgo encourages you to reevaluate and get reconnected to your daily habits, your systems, your routines, your regimens, your habits. Get organized, get practical, do daily chores. Get a list together and work through that list. The moon will give you the energy for that. But let me just tell you, the Virgo moon has 3 quincunxes back to back to back. These are karmically challenging aspects. They're annoying, they're frustrating. They are aspects that I share are the days when you want to look for the silver lining. It's not just annoying and frustrating, and that's the end of the deal. Oftentimes, these quincunxes, especially when they happen back to back to back, are best in hindsight, right? You can kind of see, I got quincunxed massively on a flight back to LA. That was back in December of 2025. And was like, oh my God, I got rerouted to a different airport. I was stuck for hours and hours and hours when it was supposed to be like a quick little 6-hour travel day. And it turned into I think we were 15 hours or something crazy, and a different airport, right? And I live really close to the LA airport. So it was like, oh my God, this is insane. But when I got here, got to go explore a completely different area that I haven't really explored. Had amazing gluten-free pizza and some sparkling orange wine. It was so delicious. So it wasn't until the next day after all of that travel that I was like, oh, okay, I can see the magic of that. And, it was an insane travel time. And, who knows, maybe, who knows what I could have avoided on, the original plan, what could have happened, what could have come my way, right? So it was just okay, it's annoying AF, it's frustrating, but for some whatever reason, there is a silver lining here. So just know Monday, March 2nd is kind of one of those days. Let's just see, especially on the work front, you might experience some kerfuffly, annoying, frustrating kind of energy. So just be on the lookout for that. Because there's a quincunx to Neptune at 6:31 a.m., a quincunx to Saturn because they're right next to each other at 7:58 a.m., and then a quincunx to Pluto at 12:43 p.m. So our dreams, our duties, our responsibilities, and accountability, and boundaries, as well as a deep soul kind of energy are all getting quincunxed. All right, so just beyond the arm. And last but not least, Mars, the planet of energy, motivation, sex, drive, your get up and go, your inner engine, leaves the sign of Aquarius and dives into the Pisces pond at 6:16 a.m. Pacific. And Mars will be in Pisces through April 9th. Now, here's the deal. Mars is the god of war. He is not the god of the sea. He is not the god. He's not a swimmer. So in Pisces, Mars is challenged. So if you feel like you are dragging ass more than normal, you can probably blame Mars and Pisces. Now, if you have Mars and Pisces in your chart, then you're in your Mars return. You might feel energized, right? You might actually be like, ooh, throw me in the water. I'm ready. But Mars and Pisces, one of the archetypes that just stuck with me from way back when I was taking an insane amount of courses and reading books and webinars and all the things that I did in order to get a comprehensive understanding of astrology. One of the archetypes was Mars in Pisces being the spiritual bully, Okay, or taking the bully. No, no. Here's what it was: taking the bully and putting him in spiritual camp. Okay, because Mars does not want to be in the realm of intuition and ebb and flow. Like, he's the god of war. He wants to fight. He wants to be on land. He wants to have his armor on. He wants knives, guns, all of that. That's what he's looking for. In Pisces, he is slowed down, right? He is like desperately swimming to shore. And also, Mars as Aries, god of war, he's feisty and he's a little bit of a bully kind of an energy. So with Mars in Pisces, he's just like, oh my God, I have to sit here with all these woo-woo types. I got to sit here and meditate. I got to sit here and I can't just take action. I have to listen. I don't really want to do that. So this is challenged energy, and it's joining Mercury retrograde, who's also challenged in Pisces. So just know you're in, like I said, unprecedented cosmic times, and a breath of fresh air is en route, some of which, you can experience this week. But these are big energies. Lots of just one of these things happening this week that I've mentioned is enough to be felt and profound. And instead we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 planetary events. Okay, so lots going on. Let's get to your fortune cookie, which I'm going to be switching back to the bad bitch affirmations on Wednesday for Hump Day. But in the name of continuing our Lunar New Year fire horse energy that's been running for almost 2 weeks now, we're going to finish out the full Aquarius new moon solar eclipse vibe with the fortune cookie. And today's is, we got two. How funny. Two very, they kind of make sense for the week. Tough and trying times. Tough times ahead. Think long term and make decisions accordingly. Avoid negative people at all cost. Virgo moon quincunx Saturn for sure. It's all tough and trying times is just about boundaries. And then sunshine. The sun is shining on you, career and business growth, fabulous communication in relationships. All right, we kind of got one of those days, one of those weeks. So daily dosers, I will be so stoked to spend each day, as we always do, with you, breaking down all this other energy, because it's important to know, important for you to take advantage of it. And we'll do what we always do. Have a great freaking week, and I will see you, depends. If you join Daily Doses, I'll see you tomorrow. And if not, then I'll see you next week. Until then, bye. Astro lover, did you love this week's astro forecast? Well, just wait until you're inside the Daily Dose of Stars. Right now, you're waking up and feeling pulled in a million directions. You're buzzing with anxiety about your new meeting. You're doom scrolling for 30 minutes before you even leave the bed. You're overwhelmed by news headlines, decisions about deadlines at work, and constantly distracted, which, of course, leaves you feeling off, unmotivated, and stuck in a loop of doing a million things but getting nowhere. My friend, this is because you haven't checked the daily energetic weather report. Riddle me this: would you ever take a trip to Europe or go camping without checking the actual weather? Hell no. So why are you going through life without checking the energy for the day ahead? The Daily Dose of Stars gives you bite-sized astrological guidance every single morning, so you know exactly what energy you're working with, exactly what to avoid, and what moves to make in order to activate the opportunities that are available for you to seize. So no more guessing, no more chaos, no more feeling pulled in a million directions and saying, what the hell is in the air right now? You'll know exactly what's in the air, and you'll also know exactly what the actual F to do with it every friggin' day. So when you're ready to start co-creating your best life with the universal energy in real time, hop inside the Daily Dose of Stars. The link to subscribe is in the show notes below. Simply scroll down and tap the link. I'll see you there.